Guys, all right, so you finished watching your Zern lesson and completing the Tower of Power for Module 3, Lesson 14. And in your Zern lesson, you learned about dividing numbers and getting quotients where you have a remainder or you have some extra left over. So real quickly, before we move on to the problem set, I want to talk to you guys about the two different types of division problems that you're going to see. Sometimes you're going to see a problem that is going to give you the number of groups. It's going to give you a total amount. It's going to give you the number of groups that you have, and you're going to have to figure out how many parts are going to be in each group. Sometimes you're going to have a problem where they're going to give you the total amount and they're going to give you the amount of parts, and you're going to have to figure out how many total groups you can make out of those parts. So either way, guys, no matter which way you solve the problem, you should still get the correct answer. But you just have to pay careful attention to what is the problem asking of you. Is it asking you to figure out how many groups you're going to need for the number of parts? Or is it asking you to figure out how many parts are going to be in each of the groups that it gives you? So just a little heads up there. All right, so now we're going to continue on. We're going to do some division with some word problems. We are going to use the read, draw, write process to solve these problems. We're also going to be drawing arrays. We're going to be looking at tape diagrams, and we're going to be looking at the standard algorithm for division so that you can kind of begin to get familiar with how that works as well. All right, so number one, we're going to write our strategy. We're going to read, we're going to draw, we're going to write our number sentence, and we're going to write our statement. All right, number one, there are 19 identical socks. So the socks are all exactly the same. I want to know how many pairs of socks are there. Well, I should know that a pair is equal to 2 socks. So one pair is 2 socks. Will there be any socks without a match? If so, how many? All right, so I've read my problem. Here they're giving me a total number of 19. They are telling me how many items are going to be in each group, and I have to figure out how many groups there are. Okay, so I'm going to draw this out because I know that there are 2 socks in a pair. So there's 2 socks in every group. And I'm going to go until I get my 19 socks. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 socks. All right, so there are my 19 socks, and I'm putting them into pairs. So there's 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 pair, 4 pair, 5 pair, 6 pair, 7 pair, 8 pair, 9 pairs. So now I've drawn out my problem. So if I write my number sentence for this, guys, I'm going to write 19 divided by. This bracket right here is your divided by sign. So when you write problems out in division, the number that is inside, this is your dividend. This is the number you're dividing into. So it is inside the bracket. And then the number on the outside, which is going to be 2 because I'm dividing by pairs, is your divisor. It's the number that you're going to be dividing by. Okay, so here I have 19 divided by 2. All right, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to put my 9 up here as my quotient because that's my quotient. It's my final answer. And I can check myself by saying, how many of these did I put into pairs? Well, 9 times 2 would be 18 socks that I actually put into pairs. And then if I subtract the 18 that I put into pairs from the 19 that I have 1 little sock left over. So that little sock all by itself is my remainder. So I have 9 pairs of socks and a remainder of 1 sock. So I've written my word problem, my number problem. And now my answer is there will be 9 pairs of socks with 1 sock remaining or left over. So there is my final answer. Okay. All right, let's look at number 2. Same thing. We're going to read, draw, write our number sentence, and write our statement. If it takes 8 inches of ribbon to make a bow, so one bow takes 8 inches of ribbon, how many bows can be made from 3 feet of ribbon? And they tell me here that 1 foot equals 12 inches. Well, they tell me that because I'm going to get 3 feet of ribbon, but I'm only going to use 8 inches for each bow. And then I want to know, will any ribbon be left over? And if so, how much? So again, I have my group. I have that there are 8 inches in one bow. So the bow is my group, and there are 8 parts, 8 inches in that group. I want to know how many bows or how many groups can I make from 3 feet of ribbon. Well, I know that 12 inches is 1 foot, so 3 feet would be 3 12 inches, which I know 3 times 12 is 36. So I have 36 inches of ribbon. That is my total. So I've read my problem. Now I'm going to draw it. All right, in each bow, I'm going to have 8 inches. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches for my first bow. So there's my first group. And I need to go until I get to 36 and see how much I use. So there's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. All right, so there's my 36 inches. I don't have any more. Now I ran out. So how many bows did I make? There's 1 bow. There's 2 bows. There's 3 bows. There's 4 bows. So I've drawn my problem. Now I'm going to write my division statement. So my division statement is going to be 36 divided by, remember my 36 goes inside my bracket because it's my dividend, okay? And I'm dividing that 36 by 8 because that's how many inches it takes for 1 bow. Well, here I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 bows. And let's see how many inches we used making those 4 bows. 4 times 8 is going to be 32. So I used 32 inches. Sorry about the heart attack. Miss Mitten just came in and scared me to death. So now we're back to our video. All right, so I have 4 bows. I'm using 8 inches, so that's a total of 32 inches, okay? So 36 minus 32 is going to leave me with 4 inches. So I'm making 4 bows, and I have a remainder of 4 inches of ribbon. So I've written my word problem. So now or my number problem, sorry, my number sentence. So now I'm going to write my statement. So I can make 4 bows and will have 4 inches of ribbon remaining. All right, so there's my final answer. Okay, let's look at number 3. Number 3 says the library has 27 chairs and 5 tables. if the same number of chairs, so the same number of chairs is placed at each table, how many chairs can be placed at each table? Will there be any extra chairs? And if so, how many are there going to be? Okay, I forgot to write my strategy down, so let me go here and do that real quick. So I'm going to read, I'm going to draw, I'm going to write my number sentence, and then I'm going to write my statement. Okay, so I've read my problem. Now this problem's a little different, guys, because they're telling you the total amount and they're already telling you the number of groups. So you know you're going to have 5 tables and you're going to put the same number of chairs at each one of these tables. So because they're telling me my number of groups, I'm going to choose personally to do a tape diagram with this problem. If you still want to do it in an array, you can go ahead and do that. It's basically going to be the same thing. I'm just going to do it as a tape diagram because I know that I have 5 tables, okay? So here are my 5 tables, and I'm going to have 27 chairs at each of these 5 tables. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. All right, well, if I have 27 and I've already placed 25, I can't put 5 more here. I only have 2 more. So those 2 are going to have to be my remainder over here. So that's my extra. So my total number is 27. Around each table, I'm going to have 25 chairs, and then I'm going to have these 2 little chairs left over here. Okay? So I've drawn my problem. Now let me write my number sentence. So I have 27 chairs, and I'm dividing the number of chairs by the number of groups that I have. I have 5 tables. And so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. And guys, you really should know that 5 times 5 is going to be 25. That's as close as you can get to 27 using 5s. So 5 times 5, I have used 25 of my chairs. I had 27. So 27 minus 5, I'm going to have 2 chairs left. So my answer is going to be 5, remainder 2. And then to write that as a statement, I would say 5 chairs can be placed at each table and 2 chairs will be left. Okay, so that's how we can do that one. All right, flip your paper over. Let's look at number 4. Now, guys, if you feel comfortable doing these and you want to go ahead and do 4, 5, and 6 on your own, that is perfectly fine. Go ahead, pause the video, do them on your own, and you can come back and check your work at the end. If you want to hang with me for the next one, then go ahead and hang with me. All right, I'm going to go ahead and write my strategy. I'm going to read, draw, write my number sentence, and write my statement. The baker has 42 kilograms of flour. She uses 8 kilograms each day. So this day is my number of groups. And I know I have 8 kilograms in each group, but I don't know how many groups I have. After how many days will she need to buy more flour? So I know I've read my problem. I'm going to draw this out. I can draw this a couple different ways, guys. I can do 8 kilograms. I can do an array of 8 in each row until I get to 42 and determine how many days that's going to be. Or I could do a tape diagram. I'm going to start this one with a tape diagram. Okay. All right, so I know that altogether she has 42 kilograms of flour, and she's going to use 8 kilograms each day. Now, I want to know how many days is she going to use those 8 kilograms. Well, I don't know how many total days that's going to be. But I know that if I know my multiplication and I try and think of what times 8 would get me close to 42 without going over, I know that 8 times 5 would get me to 40, right? So let's try that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I have 8 in each of these days, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day, and then how many am I going to have left over? If this amount right here, 8 times 5 equals 40, and I had a total of 42, then here I'm going to have 2 kilograms left. So how many days is she going to have enough flour? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. So I've drawn my picture. She will need more flour after 5 days. Oh, wait a minute. I got backwards. I went ahead and wrote my statement before I wrote my number problem. That's all right. All right, so to write my number sentence, I'm going to have 42 divided by 8. Okay? And the way we did our tape diagram, guys, we knew that 8 times 5 is 40, which is going to be close to 42. If I do 8 times 6, that's going to be 48, and that's going to be too much. So I have 5 times 8. So let's see how many kilograms of flour we used. 5 times 8 is 40, so she used 40 kilograms, and she had 42, so she has 2 kilograms remaining. So 5 days with a remainder of 2 kilograms. So I wrote my number sentence, okay? All right, so guys, I want you now to go ahead and pause the video. I want you to work out problems 5 and 6, and then come back and check your answers. But work them out on your own, because I need to see, and you need to see, if you are understanding how to do this. If you need help, then feel free to ask for it. Okay, guys, so hopefully you got the answer of Caleb will use 72 apples for his pies, and he will have 4 apples left. So let's look real quick at how Miss Ivasic did this. All right, first I read my problem. Caleb has 76 apples. He wants to bake as many pies as he can. If it takes 8 apples to make each pie, how many apples will he use? How many apples will not be used? All right, so this problem's written a little differently. It's not wanting to know how many groups or how many are in each group. It's wanting to know if he needs 8 apples to make each pie, and he has 76 apples, how many apples is he going to use? So in order to do this one, guys, I did a tape diagram simply because I didn't want to draw out 76 dots for apples. We want to be efficient whenever we're doing division and multiplication. So you want to try and think of the best way to solve the problem in the most efficient manner. And drawing 76 dots is not very efficient. It's going to take me a long time. So what I did is I drew my tape diagram, and I knew that there were 8 apples in each pie, but I didn't know exactly how many pies he's going to have to make. So I had to think about my multiplication. Well, if each pie has 8 apples, I came over here and I wrote my multiples of 8. So I knew that 1 pie is 8, 2 pies 16 apples, 3 pies are 24 apples, and so on and so forth. So by the time I got to 9, my multiples of 9, I knew that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pies were going to use 72 apples. So 8 times 9 is 72 apples, and there were 4 apples left. So then I came over and I wrote my number sentence to check my answer. Well, 8 times 9 is going to get me close to 76. If I go 8 times 10, I'm going to be over 76. So I'm going to go with 9. 8 times 9 is 72. So after I use 72 apples, I have to subtract that from the 76 that I have, and I have 4 apples remaining. So Caleb will use 72 apples for pies, and he will have 4 apples left. Now, if you did not get that answer or you have questions about how I got that answer, please come see me or go back and check your work and see if you can get the correct answer. All right, let's look and see how I did number 6. Now, again, with number 6, we're talking about a larger number. So I really did not want to have to draw out 45 circles. So I read my problem. 45 people are going to the beach. 7 people can ride in each van. How many vans will be required to get everyone to the beach? Now, this problem is different than any of the others you've had because I want to take everybody to the beach, not just the 7 people that can fit in each van. So I have to keep that in mind when I'm coming up with my answer here. So again, I drew a tape diagram and I knew I had a total of 45 people and 7 were going in each van. So I wrote my multiples of 7 to see what number would get me close to 45 without going over. Well, I know that 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 7 is 49. Well, 49 is too many. So I'm going to go with 6. So in 6 vans, there can be 42 people if there are 7 people in each van. And then there are going to be 3 people left. So I checked my multiplication and I said 6 times, or my division, I'm sorry, 6 times 7 is 42. So that's 42 people that are going to be riding. And I'm taking that 42 away from my 45 and I'm left with 3, which is what I have in my tape diagram. Now, let's think about this. I said that they'll need 7 vans to get everyone to the beach, but my answer was 6 with a remainder of 3. Why do you think they're going to need 7 vans? Well, hopefully you realize that they're not just going to leave those poor 3 people behind and take everyone else to the beach. So they're going to need 7 vans to get everyone, because it says to get everyone to the beach. So they'll have 6 vans with 7 people and 1 van with 3 people. These type of problems are very tricky, boys and girls. You're going to have to pay very close attention to if it asks you the total number of something they're going to need for everyone. Okay? All right, if you have any questions about that problem, then please come see me. If not, I want you to now work on the division problem worksheet that is after your problem set in your workbook. When you have completed those division problems, you may bring them to me to check. Good job.